All right, good evening. My name is Gian, and today I'm going to talk about my Tableau project. So first, I want to talk about the type of data that we were given for the project. So the data that we were given for the project was different items, more specifically different toys that are being sold in different states. And some of them were like aluminum baseball bats, 3D glasses, and block toys. So for the first worksheet, and I'm going to share my screen right now. I wanted to talk more about the sales in every state and by different categories. So just like let's say for Alabama, the kind of item that was sold in that specific state and how much sales were for that specific product. And then if you go down, you can see all the states, all the sales data for all the items that are being sold in that specific state. And I chose to start off with looking at this kind of data and doing this visualization because I think it's important to see like what is being sold in each state and how much of that item has been sold in every state to kind of think about like what items are performing better than others, what kind of items should not be are not being sold that much in each state. And then for the next worksheet, I thought about looking at what were like the five best selling items for each region, and then looking at the data, we can see that the West region was a better performing in sales compared to all of the other regions. And then I chose to analyze the airplane model kits, the aluminum baseball bats, and all these items because they seemed like they were the better performing items out of all the items that we were given in the data. And then I thought about what were like the best performing items per state. So for the third worksheet, I did a map because it's like the best way I can to visualize how the items are performing in each state. And for the map, I highlighted which was like the best selling item for each state. So here I have some different colors for the different states, and then the darker they are, the higher the sales were. So here we have, for example, Texas is sold 12,107,192 baseball bats. That's really good. And then here we have California, which had $26,930,000,000 in sales for aluminum baseball bats. And then what the conclusion that I kind of came up with when looking at this data is that the aluminum baseball bats were like the most popular item compared to all the other items that are in the data. So also for the interactive worksheet, I decided to um, drill down a little bit more on the items that are being sold in every state. So here, when you look up a specific item, let's say 3D puzzles, and then the chart at the bottom is going to show all the states that sell that specific item. And then if you keep doing it, you got archaeology kits, baby gift sets, bicycles. And then when you click on a specific state, is going to show you the item name, and then when you are showing all the items, when you click on it, it's going to show you the best selling item as well in regards to sales. And then also I decided to talk a little bit more about um, what maybe could be the cause of some states performing better than others, some of them having better sales than other states. So I decided to look at the data for the sales teams, and I decided to talk more about the indigo and the violet sales teams because they seem to be outperforming all the other teams. And in this data, I'm showing how much they did in sales, and then I kind of compared the two best teams, and then if you click on this, you can see on the left you got the item name, and then you got the sales. And the reason why I picked like the line graph, I feel like it's better to see kind of like which team sold more of that item than the other team. And I feel like this was the best way to visualize that. And then now I'm going to talk more about the story. So first, I'm going to start talking about California. I picked California for that specific point because California outperforms every other state. It has the highest sales for all of the toys, and also California is part of the West region, which also explains why the West region had more sales than the other regions as well. And then the top selling item in California is the aluminum baseball bats as well, and the inflatable bouncers, which I also did the worksheet explaining like the top five best-selling items, which is also the top five best-selling items in California and the other states. And then for this one, I decided to talk about more. I decided to talk more about the West region because the West region does have the most sales out of all the other regions. And then for this one, I also picked like the top five items as well, the top five items that produce the most sales and the most profit. And I believe it's good to look at this data because it tells us that we should focus more on producing more of these products, trying to market these products better. And yeah, so for the next one, I decided to take a look at the block toys, like an example. Um, it's an item that is being sold in all the states, and also for this one, um, right down there, you can see how much of it is being sold, and you can also see it on the map. And they picked the block toys because it also highlights what I was talking about earlier, that California and then some of the states that have the biggest sales. It kind of highlights the best like performing states as well. So I thought it was really important to kind of drill down and see more of that data as well. And then these are the some of the items that produce the most profit out of all of them. So I'm sorry. Here I'm talking about the aluminum baseball bats that I mentioned earlier. It's the one that produced the most sales and the most profit. And just like I kind of mentioned earlier, it's a good idea to focus more on these products and taking better look at these products than producing some of the most like the other underperforming products. And then for this one, um, I am talking about the best performing like teams. So the indigo and the violet teams did the better amount of sales, just like I mentioned earlier. And I think it's also like important to highlight this part of the data and I know I already did a worksheet talking about it, but I think it's important to look at this data because it gives us the opportunity to coach the other teams better, because I believe that the teams were a big factor in the amount of sales in the West region mostly. And yeah, so some of the recommendations that I came up with for the based on the data is to focus more on the five products that I mentioned earlier, coach the blue, green, orange, red, and yellow teams to market the products a bit better. And so yeah, this is kind of the conclusion. This pro I have never done Tableau before, so this was definitely a learning experience. I enjoy doing this. I definitely learned some better like data analytical skills, and I feel like those are some new skills that I will definitely use in the workplace. So yeah, um, thank you for listening to my presentation, and have a nice day.